that we use in connection with something called Fizzle. That's run out of the Allen Houston Foundation. But the idea is that faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, and legacy are important values. And I'll just repeat that. That's faith, that's integrity, it's sacrifice, leadership, and legacy. And I'd like to take a minute on each of these and ask you, what's your perspective on the power of each of these? For example, with faith and working with athletes in particular, how important is faith and working with athletes in your view?
I believe it's very important. The game is short. Sports is short, and you have to build in a way to win in life. And you want to build in such a way with your faith. When I'm talking in sports, is that there's a lot of negative things out there, and people are looking for positive things, positive role models. And so we know that faith can help you become a better husband, better father, better even on your job, better in your community. There are a lot of things that will make you better through your faith. And so faith is very important, because when the game's over, we still have to live our lives. And so having faith, having something bigger, because also the game ebbs and flows. There's going to be highs and lows. And if you put all your marbles in that game, the game will let you down, but your faith won't. Your faith will see you through the difficult situations. We know New York, the media is rough. We know there's going to be difficulties on your job, but if you have something to hold on to, it'll give you the ability not just to take care of business where you are, but it also give you the ability to take care of business of where you're going.
I see. That's really powerful. So you're saying faith is more like, it's like an anchor, or
Yes.
something to hold on to.
Yes.
And it gets you through the tough times.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. What about integrity, as in your view? How do you see integrity as important to athletes?
Integrity is important because, everybody wants respect. Everybody wants respect, and everybody wants accountability. That's a big word that's been thrown around right now. And respect and accountability. And when you think about integrity, being a man of integrity, doing things right, not cutting corners, not cheating, not doing things to get ahead, being a man of integrity, a man of principles is so important, because what that does for you is that makes you dependable. That makes you dependable. A lot of people are looking for people they can depend on, that are not going to be out there doing stuff late at night, causing problems, but they're focused on the things that are important. So integrity is is high, because people need to know that you're a trustworthy person, that your word was used to be very, very powerful back in the day. When you spoke something or said you're going to do something, you knew you could take it to the bank, that man or that woman is going to come through and do what they're supposed to do, or what they say. So being a man of integrity, a person of integrity, is very crucial in this hour, because there's a lot of people that will say things but not come through and follow up on them.
Got it. So you linked integrity to dependability. That once we've achieved integrity, we've become dependable too, and consistent. That's very, very powerful. Well, the third one is sacrifice, and I'm wondering, how do you see sacrifice being important in athletic endeavors?
So sacrifice, the thing about sacrifice is that, the biggest thing is people have to understand that you're going to have to give up stuff in order to be great, that you can't do what everybody else does. And so that's difficult. It's really difficult. People don't realize what people that give up to play at a high level. You read stories about Tom Brady. You read stories about some athletes, traveling to other countries and to do things for their bodies, and all these different things. Not only do you sacrifice just your physical body or whatever in order to play at a high level, but even times being away from our families. You're sacrificing time with your family because of these things. And so sacrifice and giving up things in order to play at a high level or do things at a high level is important. But also I want to go back to what we just talked about. When are dependable, you're going to have to sacrifice, because you can't do what everybody else does, because we're under a microscope. You're always going to, be held accountable at a higher standard, and so you won't get to go and be around people, go do things, can't say some things. So sacrificing is not just what we do on the field, but it's also sacrificing those things that we can't do off the field.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, that's so insightful, because I think that that's the thing that sometimes is missed when we see athletes performing, is that we just take it for granted that they're just great, talented individuals, which they are. But at the same time, we have to appreciate, like you just said, Pastor, that how much they give up, how much is required of them on and off the field to give up in order to achieve and do the great things that we applaud them for. That's super, super powerful. The next thing is leadership. What role do you see leadership playing for professional athletes based on your experience?
So leadership is very important, and here's why. It's because we have a generation behind us looking up to us. And especially as athletes, we can say things, do things, and it can move the masses. And we have to be careful that we lead people in the right direction and not the wrong direction. And we have what we hear a lot about platforms. You get a platform. And so when you get a platform, you want to make sure that you're leading people to do positive things, right things. And sometimes people don't want to do that. And leadership, to have the yoke of leadership on your life, it will cost you. It will cost you. And, it's going to cost you people. It's going to cost you your time. It's going to cost you your money. It's going to cost a lot of things to be a leader. And I always said this: you can have a lot of followers on Twitter, but it doesn't make you a leader. It doesn't make you a leader. You can have a lot of followers on social media, but it doesn't make you a leader. And leaders lead well. They lead well, and they lead people in such a way, they don't just talk it, but they live it. They don't just talk it, but they live it. And so one of the great men that I've gotten around at a young age in my career when I was playing was Darryl Green. And what I loved about Darryl Green, arguably the best cornerback that ever played a game, I had to put that in there. The reason I love Darryl, because Darryl was a man of principle, and he led out first. He led out first, and what I mean by that, he did what he said. He didn't just get up there and talk the talk, but he actually walked the walk and did some great things in communities and around the country. So it's important.
Yeah, again, well said. I love the idea that you talk about not focusing on how many followers you have to consider yourself a leader, that leadership isn't defined by the number of followers that you have. I thought that was really insightful for me. Yeah. I also love the fact that you mentioned this idea of a platform, and that there's a platform that leaders have, and that you have to use that platform wisely, because you can influence others about and what they do. And another thing you said, you dropped so many pearls, man, in that one answer. I picked up that you also said that you have to lead. This is an active process. That you have to live it, you also said, which I thought was really, really powerful, Which brings us to the last value that we talk about, and I thank you for hanging in there with me on this. Is the idea of a legacy and creating a legacy, and what value you see in athletes and athletic endeavors around legacy.
Yeah. So legacy to me is bigger than the points that we put up, the tackles that we made. Legacy is when you look back and you say, what impact did I make in society? What impact did I make in society? And not only that, but what good did I leave behind me that others can benefit from? And so legacy is so important, is that it's something that can be passed down, something that you can have somebody take further, do better. I started it, but now I want you to take it further. So we're always talking about leaving a legacy for our children. We don't want to leave our children with a bunch of debt. We don't want to leave our children with a bunch of bad things. You want to leave them with something positive. And you talk about leaving the name, your last name, carrying on the legacy of the name. And so you want that to be positive. You don't want your kids like, man, I don't even want my last name. It's bad, you know. My mom was bad, my dad, you know, they don't want that. And so when I think about legacy, it's leaving something behind positive that people can benefit from, that's going to catapult them to do better, to make whatever it is in society better. And legacy is crucial. Legacies are crucial. And so there's a lot of positive people that have left some positive legacies around the world and around the nation that you and I and others are benefiting off of, because they wanted to leave the place better. They wanted to leave that place better.
Yeah, and man, that's well said again. The idea of just protecting the promise and making sure the next generation, those to come, can have something, that you don't leave something terrible for them to have to fix. And at the same time, you give them a hope and a future as well. So, Pastor, it's just so wonderful to speak to you, because your experience, your wisdom, your knowledge, who you are as a man of God, a man who handles athletic performances and helps people do well in the professional realm, as well as the biggest realm of all, with our spirits and our souls and who we are as men. I think it's a blessing to have you in this world. I'm so grateful that I know you, man, and that, you know, I can actually say this is my guy, this is my dude. So
Likewise.
Absolutely. So listen, man, we ran out of time. We ate this hour up so quickly.
Yes, we did.
That I can't believe it. We didn't even get to the social justice stuff that I really wanted you to weigh in on. So you gotta promise me, man, that you're gonna come back.
I will. You just give me the time. Let me know when I'm